Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So, a few weeks ago, about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I covered a anti-VAX protest. Let's try not to argue in the comments about vaccines and masks. I was there to, cover this protest. I have no links to the group. I'm not affiliated with the group in any way. I was just there to take the pictures. That is it. I have no opinion about the vaccines. And I think we should try and keep it nice and civilized in the comments. So if you want to have a discussion, let's keep it civilized and not about the vaccine, because that's not why we're here. Right, so I've got quite a few here. The editing app that I'm actually using today is LumaFusion. Lumia AI, I believe it's pronounced. It says it right there in the top left-hand corner. Now, these were all taken on the EOS 1D Mark IV, purely because I wanted to use that camera, because I hadn't used it for a protest and it performed really well. Just having a quick scan through some of these pictures. Some of them are quite good, some of them are going to be bad. Although I do want to ask you if anyone knows who this guy is. If I just go to edit, because I don't know who he is, and that's not a very good picture of him. Let's go back to that one. We'll go to, let's try this one. Edit, come on. There we go. If anyone knows who this guy is, because I don't. This was outside the health department in central London. I took a load of pictures, as you obviously can tell, and he was saying certain things to the protesters, and yeah. Anyway, if you know who this guy is, please do tell me, as I would like to know. I have tried to look him up, but I can't find him. Anyway, so let's go back to the top. And this is kind of the start of it, and then obviously down here is the end of it as the day started to wear on. That's my old thumbnails from one of my last videos. So this is actually the end of the protest. Where this man was talking. Again, I don't know who he is, although I don't really care about who he is. I care about who the other guy was. So, let's go back to the top. And we will go and have a look. So, actually, first of all, I'm not even going to edit a protest photo. I'm going to edit this. Now, normally what I would do is something kind of like this. So I'd bring maybe the exposure down, some smart contrast, knock them highlights down, maybe lift some shadows, actually bring the exposure back up again, and then maybe that's about it. Maybe I sort out the color curves or whatever, but I'm not going to do that because that's not what this software is about. Although this does look like a really nice image, especially the detail here on this building here. Although now that you zoom in too much, you can kind of see some, yeah, you get what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to use what this software can do, and we are going to replace the sky. So let's have a look at this one. There we go. Look at that. Now let's have a look at, now I've noticed that this actually does struggle with some trees, because it's, trees are random, obviously, so, and it does normally struggle, but it appears to have handled it this time very well, especially like over here around. It's really masked well. There is some chromatic aberration, especially just here, this purpling here, which I'm not used to seeing from the lens that I was using. So I can only assume that it's from the camera body, which I find weird, because I'm not used to seeing chromatic aberration coming from, as I said, from this lens. It doesn't, it's an L lens. It's a beautiful lens. Let's have a look at a different sky. No. Maybe a sunset. No, that looks too fake. Let's add a oh god. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. But I think we will keep to maybe that. No. I think we'll just keep to that, to a nice summer's day. So we've completely changed it because this is autumn. And we've got a complete different kind of, you know, feel to the image that I can just kind of alter as much as I want. Make things bigger and smaller and masking. Although I have noticed that when you're doing something like this, it does use up an awful lot of resources on your computer. So if we look at this right here, this is the activity monitor on Mac OS. I'm using 7.5 gigs of RAM. And that was actually one of the things that I complained about with Lightroom, because it was using about 3 or 4 gigs. So it's using more than Lightroom, which I was actually prepared for. I knew that Lumia AI did use more RAM, even though I was complaining about how much RAM Lightroom was using. So that one is now done. Let's go to the catalog again and we'll have a look at this one. And you can see the difference in the two images. So there's the original sky and there is the added sky, and it looks really nice. Again, you know, that looks like a completely standard day in London, in, I don't know, well, any part of the year really. And then that looks a lot better, although I do actually want to finish editing that one, but maybe I'll edit that one more later. So we'll go back to the catalogue and we'll go on with the protest images. So I said, these are the beginnings of the protest, so there's not many people here, which I do quite like, because it means that, you know, you get the signs and that people are holding, like this lady here. Although this one, this guy confused me. I took this picture because of why you think, because he's holding a JVC TV box, and I just found it funny, so I snapped a few of him. Let's go back. On the other side of it, there is a there are words on the other side. I just found it funny that he was carrying it as a TV box on that side. So yeah. What have we got here? I'm not even going to get into what the signs say. Let's have a quick edit. Let's have a look at their templates, because I'm still getting used to using this software. It's still kind of new to me. So, oh, looks like no. So yeah, this is still kind of all new to me, this software, really. So I'm not fully used to this software. I'm still used to Lightroom. I've actually been using Lightroom up until quite recently. See, it's just there, and I've still got pictures there. And the main reason I actually stopped recently was because the subscription actually fully ended, and I've had to come over to this, because you can't edit RAW in Lightroom after your subscription is ended, which is fine because I cancelled it. So let's have a look at something interesting. So, here we go. Look at this. Let's find, there we go. Look at that. Now that is kind of typical London in a way. I think we'll replace the sky if we can, so it's doing its work. Oh, although we need to work on some masking, I think, around Big Bentley there. And I think we need to get rid of that lamppost, because it's kind of in the way. So we'll add a mask. see what that can do. Whoops. I can't keep this straight. So we want to erase it. There we go. Actually, that would do. That might. Paint more there. Come on. I think rather than using a mask, I might actually be able to just cool the area down. No, maybe not. So I said I am actually still, getting used to this software. So I don't really, fully know what I'm doing. But that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm learning. And I like being able to learn new stuff. So we'll have a look at let's just go back into that one. I do quite like it. But I do need to learn how to mask around Big Bentley there, and I need to get rid of that lamppost and traffic lights because it does kind of get in the way, and there's not really one. So there's the guy actually that I was talking about earlier with his TV box. Yes, he didn't. This protest is an anti-vax protest. If you don't believe in it, that's down to you. Let's keep it nice and civil in the comments. So, anyway, let's move on to maybe right there. I do quite like that, but I'm going to do a basic edit. I'm not going to mask. I'm not going to replace the sky. Well, because there is no sky for a start. Right, so yeah, let's go on to this lady just here. Oh, he looks happy, don't he? He looks very miserable. So let's see if we can find... I don't really want this guy in it. But the problem is that all of her have got him in it. But that's fine. We'll move on to something else. So we have this lady here. It does need straightening up a little bit. Because apparently I can't, take pictures straight. So let's just have a look. Composition right there in front of me. Oh my god. There we go. And then what else? Let's have a look at the lighting. There we go. Have a look at the lighting. So let's brighten it up. We'll bring in some smart contrast. It's what they call it. I don't know how smart this contrast actually is. Let's bring this microphone a little bit closer to me. There we go. Let's drop them highlights, and we'll drop... maybe we'll drop or lift. Maybe we'll lift them a little bit. We'll lift the shadows. And then we'll lift the whites and drop some blacks. No, actually, I think we'll do the opposite. Yeah, we'll drop the whites and we'll lift the blacks. And then some of that. Now, we've actually got quite a nice bit of blur. Even at this focal range, we do have a little bit of blur just over here to add a little bit of depth into the shot, which is quite nice. To kind of attract your eyes. And let's actually, speaking of attracting the eye, let's add a subject. How the fuck do I do? Okay, let's not add a vignette. We'll denoise it, color denoise. Setting some dehaze. Color saturation. Let's. Oh god, no! I hate it when people do that. They go vibrancy and saturation, and then they're just like, "Yeah, that looks nice." No, it doesn't. No, bring it back. Bring the saturation and vibrancy back. Like, I don't mind some saturation and vibrancy, but not to that extent. So what do we have? So I think I'm kind of going into this a little bit too much now. We'll enhance it a little bit. But I think I'm going into this picture just a little bit too much. I think I may have overdone it. So we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, especially with the next one. If we look at that, and yeah, I think I may have overdone that one. So let's have a look at our usage. So we're still using 7.5 gigs of RAM. You can see it dropped off actually. We're using 12, near 13 gigs of RAM. I do not have... I don't have that much RAM. I need to take a picture of this on my phone. How am I using that much RAM when I don't even have that much? I have 8 gigs, as you can see down here. Physical memory, 8 gigs, and it's done a swap used of 8.18 gigs, which is basically using the SSD. So, but that's fine. It seems to be chugging along just fine. Let's actually have a look at CPU. Seems fine. I don't understand the rest of these, to be fair, so yeah. Anyway, let's put that down and let's replace the sky again, because that's what this thing is really kind of designed to do. It's designed for replacing the skies or replacing stuff within the picture. Maybe that one. Whoops, didn't want to do that. I don't like the amount of darkness over here, though. Ooh, I can defocus it. Okay. Don't know why I'd want to do that, but we'll add in some noise, because this image is usually... Images from this are usually quite grainy because of the age of the sensor, so we'll add in, just to make it look a bit more, you know, kind of authentic. And you can see actually what I was talking about earlier, it does struggle with, you know, with trees just here. It's struggling a little bit just here. But that's fine. This is still, I think this is still kind of a first or second gen product. So you kind of expect a little bit of, you know, mistakes. The AI isn't 100% perfect. So there's the before and there's the after. I think I will edit the image normally. So if we go to light, and we'll bring that up as some smart contrast. We'll drop the highlights, we'll lift some shadows, and we'll actually drop the exposure back down again. And I think we will lift the blacks. The whites? Ooh, no. Maybe to about... because this looks really underexposed here. So if we lift that, I don't know. To about there, I quite like that. I think that looks kind of okay, although it looks like a HDR picture, which is fine. Nothing against HDR, I'm just not fully into it myself. But there's that chromatic aberration again that I'm finding in this image, and I don't know, it's just, I just find this really weird that within this kind of image, you know, from this camera, from this lens especially, I've never had this amount of chromatic aberration on an image, which is just weird. Anyway, let's move on to another one, because I'm talking a lot in this one. So I think we may have to do a part 2. Yeah, I think I will do a part 2 in this, because I'm just talking so much, and we're using, again, quite a lot of, you know, physical RAM here that isn't even a thing. There you go. Look, 13.5 gigs of RAM. So, yeah. Anyway, so with that, I guess we're going to have to make a part 2. So, thanks for joining me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.